Hello. We're so glad that you've joined us for Circle Time today. We're going to be talking about the letter K, and K is for kings, queens, and castles. We're going to even look at a picture of a real castle today. If you have a crown that you want to go and get, you can wear it today. Maybe you want to be a king or a queen as we do our lesson. Before we get started, I want to get Sue to come out. She's going to want to say hello, and Sue has something special on her head. I want you to see. Sue, come on out here. Can you say hello, Sue? Sue, what's on your head? It's a crown. I like your crown, Sue. It's very beautiful. It's going to be a fun day today, but before we get started with our calendar time, let's tell a Bible story. Do you want to stay and help me tell the Bible story? Okay, it's about a queen, but she wasn't a queen at first. There was a girl a long time ago, and her name was Esther, and we're going to tell her story today. It comes from the Bible in the book of Esther. So long ago, there was a king, and he wanted to select a new queen. So all the beautiful young ladies were gathered from all around, and so they were brought to the palace. There they got to fix their hair, they got to have really nice clothes, and they got to take turns going before the king. He was going to pick the one that he wanted for his new queen. So one by one they went before the queen and the king before the king, and the king would say, "Nope, that's not the one." And another beautiful lady would come, and the king would say, "Nope, that's not the one." But when it was Esther's turn to go, the king said, "Yes, that's the one. That's the one that I want to be my new queen." So Esther got to become the queen. Well, Esther had been raised by her older cousin Mordecai. And so he had found out that there was an evil plan to do some bad things to his people. And he told his cousin Esther about it. And Esther went and told the king, but not right at first. At first it was a little scary because in those days, if the king hadn't called for you and you went before the king and he hadn't called for you, you could be in big trouble. But Esther said, "I want everyone," she told her cousin Mordecai, "I want everyone to pray and ask God to help me." And so Esther prayed herself too. And guess what? She was brave. God helped her to be brave. And she went before the king, and the king said, "Esther, come forward and tell me, what do you want to say?" And Esther said, "I want you to join me for a banquet. I want to make some food for you, and then I'll tell you." So the king joined Esther for a banquet, and then he said, "Esther, can you please tell me now what's wrong? What did you want to tell me?" And Esther said, "Join me for one more banquet, and then I'll be ready to tell you." And so along comes the king, and also the person in charge of that evil plan that Mordecai had found out about. His name was Haman, came to the banquet too with the king. And so after they were eating, the king said, "Esther, now this has been wonderful. There have been 2 meals now, but it's time for you to tell me what it is you want. I'll say yes." And so Esther said, "I want to tell you about an evil plan to do some bad things to my people." And so guess what? The king was so mad. He said, "Who did that? Who would have made a terrible plan like that?" And Esther said, "It was Haman." And Haman was there at the meal. And so the king was so mad. He said, "Oh no, I won't let that happen." And so that evil plan was done away with. And Esther had helped to save her people, and God had helped her to be brave. Esther was a really good queen, wasn't she, Sue? Well, are you ready to talk some more about kings and queens and castles? Me too. Let's do our calendar time first. Can you sit on the carpet, Sue? And we'll get started with our calendar. Does anyone remember what the month is for this month? It is September. Very good. It's September. And we're going to count to find out what the number is for today. Help me count if you can. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So when we're doing the date, we don't say 22, we say 22nd. So it's September 22nd. Can you say that? September 22nd. Now there's something on our calendar for today. So let me show you what that is. It says the first day of fall. Fall begins. So today is September 22nd, and it's the first day of a new season, fall. Another word for fall is autumn. So I'm going to put this on our calendar, and remember the year is 2020. So let's put it all together, okay? It is September 22nd, 2020. And it's the first day of fall. So you don't see summer here anymore. Now we see the season is fall. We're going to start to see cooler weather, and we're going to start to see the leaves change colors. Okay, let's go all the way up the calendar, and we'll see that today starts with a T. T sounds like this, T, T, T. So be listening for the T sound as we sing our Days of the Week song. I need you to help me by clapping 2 times. Here we go. 1, 2. 1, 2. Can you help me clap? 1, 2. One more time. 1, 2. Here we go. Days of the week. 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 There's Sunday and there's Monday. There's Tuesday and there's Wednesday. There's Thursday and there's Friday. And then there's Saturday. Days of the week. 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 So did you hear the t, t, t sound? What day is it today? Today is Tuesday. Can you say that? Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. Yesterday was Monday. Tomorrow will be Wednesday. But today it is Tuesday. Okay, it's time to check the weather, so look outside at your house and see what the weather's like. Look outside the window. Okay, are you ready? Okay, when I do like this, then you put in whatever the weather's like at your house, okay? What's the weather? What's the weather? What's the weather like today? What's the weather? What's the weather? What's the weather like today? It is, it is, it is out today. It is, it is, it is out today. Okay, so we checked the weather. We know what day it is. Now it's time to talk about our letter for today. And our letter for today is the letter K. K looks like this. Remember, there are always two. There's a big letter and there's a little letter. We call the big letter uppercase. We call the little letter lowercase. And this is the letter K. Now I'm going to show you how to write the letter K, but before I do, I need you to do something for me. Can you take your hand like this and make a big duck's mouth? Quack, 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 quack. Can you do that? Make a big duck's mouth. Quack, 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 quack. Because did you know that the big K has a big duck's mouth? Now I want you to make a little duck's mouth using two fingers. Quack, 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 quack. Did you know that little K has a little duck's mouth? I'll show you what I mean. Let's start with the big K. Big K looks like this. It's the number 1 with a big duck's mouth. Look at that big duck's mouth. Quack, quack, quack. So it's the number 1 with a big duck's mouth. Let me show you on the handwriting house how to write it. And you can get the handwriting house sheet if you want to. It's on, the link will be below, and I'll make sure you can find that on my blog. So let's take a look at the handwriting house, and I'm going to show you how to make the big letter K. Okay, so we're going to start upstairs. We're going to fall down to make the 1, and then we're going to come over and we're going to make that big duck's mouth. Let me show you again. It's number 1 with a big duck's mouth. So make the number 1 and then come back to the top and move over just a little bit, and then slide to the middle and slide out. So it's number 1, slide to the middle and slide out. Let's show one more. Number 1, slide to the middle and slide out. Okay, so remember we said that little K looked like a little duck's mouth. Let me show you what that looks like, okay? So it's still going to be number 1, just like big K. But we're just going to make a small duck's mouth like this. So this is little K. It's the number 1 and a small duck's mouth. Now I'm going to show you how to write it on the handwriting house. And remember we said that the little letters usually stay downstairs, but sometimes the little letters are teenagers and they can go upstairs and sometimes down into the basement. Well, this is a little letter, but it's a teenage letter. So our number 1 is going to be upstairs and downstairs, but our duck's mouth is going to be downstairs. There's our little duck's mouth. So you're going to do a number 1, and your little duck's mouth is going to be downstairs. Number 1 with a little duck's mouth, slide to the middle. From the middle line, slide to the middle of this downstairs and then out. You kind of have to pretend that you know that there's a line in the middle. I'll make some yellow dots. You kind of have to pretend or imagine where the middle downstairs is. So you're going to have to make a 1 and then try to slide to the middle downstairs and slide out. 1. Little duck's mouth. Okay, so that's what K looks like, and now we know how to write it. So now we're going to talk about what it sounds like. So K makes this sound, k, k, k. Our chant for today is K says k, as in kite. K says k, k, k. Let's practice that again. K says k, as in kite. K says k, k, k. Very good. Let's do it once more. K says K, as in kite. K says K, K, K. Now, I always like to give you a game that you can play in the afternoon to help you practice the letter sound. So the game for today has to do with kings and queens because kings and queens often have a royal bow. So what you can do is you can practice saying the k, k, k sound as you give a royal bow. Let's try it, okay? What does K say? K, 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 k. Give a royal bow. Once more, what does K say? K, 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 k. If you like things a little more active, you can also practice K says K, as in kangaroo, and you can hop K, 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 like a kangaroo, okay? Okay, so that's the letter for today. Now we're going to talk about our number. Our number for this week is the number 3, and I'm going to show you how to write it on the handwriting house chart. So you're going to start at the top, curve around and around again. Curve around and around again. You're going to start at the top, you're going to curve around and around again. Curve around and around again. It kind of looks like a backward C. Now sometimes students want to write it like this. I think maybe they're thinking about the letter C. But remember, number 3 is a backward C like this. Curve around and around again. So one backward C is upstairs and one backward C is downstairs. That's the number 3. And since today is the first day of fall, I have some pumpkins for us to count. So can you help me count some pumpkins? Okay, let's count them together. 1, 2, 3. How many pumpkins do I have? 3 pumpkins. Now we're going to do something special. We're going to count backwards. So let's start with 3 and count backwards. 3, 2, 1, 0. So that's a neat way that you can count 3 forward and backwards if you have pumpkins or something else like leaves outside. Now that the leaves are starting to change, maybe you want to pick up 3 leaves and count forward and backward for homework. Okay, so now we're going to talk about our shape. Our shape for this week is a rectangle, and we said that a rectangle had 4 sides, but I seem to remember that the shape square also had 4 sides. So what's the difference? I'm going to show you today. I have 2 wooden blocks. One is a square and one is a rectangle, and you can notice that they're different. The square has 4 sides, but they're all the same. The rectangle has 4 sides, but 2 of the sides are short and 2 of the sides are long. So can you do that with your hands like this? 2 sides short and 2 sides long. Very good. How many sides does a rectangle have? 4, but 2 sides are short and 2 sides are long. So that's the difference between a square and a rectangle. And we'll talk a lot about rectangles this week. For our color today, our color is yellow. Our color has been yellow for this week, and so I have to show you our poster that says Tuesday. What color is it? It's yellow. Very good. I want to teach you how to spell yellow, and so if you want to try, you can say this poem with me, or you can just listen, and then maybe we'll do it again later this week and you'll catch on. So this is how to spell yellow. Y-E-L-L-O-W. So let's say this together if you can. Y-E-L-L-O-W. spells yellow. Yellow spells yellow. Like the early morning sun when the day has just begun. Yellow spells yellow. So that's a big word, isn't it? But I think we can learn to spell it this week. Let's try once more. Yellow spells yellow. Yellow spells yellow. Like the early morning sun when the day has just begun. Yellow spells yellow. Very good. Good job. Okay, how many of you are wearing yellow? If you're wearing yellow, stand up. If you're wearing yellow, stand up. If you're wearing yellow, if you're wearing yellow, if you're wearing yellow, stand up. Okay, so we'll practice some more all week and maybe even review some other colors another day. But I want to talk to you now about kings and queens and castles. And I want to start by showing you what a real castle looks like. Take a look at this. Castles are very big. This castle is made of stone. Stones are very strong, and the king and queen wanted to live in a really strong house. This castle has windows. Long ago, when this castle was made, there were no lights like today that they could flip on and off. They would use the light coming through the windows. The sun would shine through and give them light, and also candles. I want you to notice something else about this castle. It has water all the way around. The water all the way around a castle is called a moat. Moat. There was usually one way into the castle and one way out, and often there was a bridge that would be raised or lowered. This is so that the king could be sure that the people coming to visit him were friendly. Okay, I want to show you what it looks like inside of a castle. Look at this. This is one big room, and look at that long table. There's usually one big room at least in a castle, and it's used for eating, like at this banquet. That's what it's called when a king or queen throws a really big dinner party. It's called a banquet. But do you know what? Sometimes the king or queen might feel like dancing. So they move all the tables and chairs out, and they use this for a big party called a ball. It's where the guests dance and get dressed up and have so much fun. Let's look at a picture of a real king and queen. Let's look at what they're wearing. So kings and queens wear crowns. They also wear robes. And look at this queen. She's wearing jewels on her neck and on her arm. Those are bracelets, and I see necklaces around her neck. So kings and queens probably wouldn't dress like this every day, but on special occasions they would wear their crowns and their robes and jewels. There are still kings and queens today, but they don't wear their crowns every day either. They wear them on special occasions. Let's take a look at a real crown. This is the picture of a real crown. Look at those jewels. There are diamonds and rubies and sapphires. Wow, how beautiful is this crown? It's very heavy also. That's one reason that a king or queen wouldn't wear it around all the time, because it can be very heavy. It's real, lots of jewels on there. So we learned a little bit about kings and queens and castles today, and I want to see how Sue enjoyed it. Sue, would you come back up? You've been sitting so quietly on the carpet. So Sue, today we had so much fun talking about kings and queens. We learned that it's September the 22nd, the first day of fall. We checked the weather to see what it was like at our houses. And then we talked about the letter K. K is for kite, but it's also for king. And you can practice making a royal bow and saying ka 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 if you'd like to. You can also decorate the letter K and practice writing on the handwriting house sheet, and you can get all those printables. I'll have the link below. And you can also practice writing the number 3. Since it was the first day of fall today, we counted 3 pumpkins forward and backwards. We also talked about a rectangle today, and then we talked about the color yellow. It was fun to learn about kings and queens, and guess what? It's going to be fun tomorrow when we talk about letter L and libraries and books. So that's going to be super fun. Sue and I will share our favorite books with you tomorrow. We'll see you then. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye. See you tomorrow for circle time.